Greetings and salutations, DMs, GMs, referees, judges, game operations directors, and all other varieties of storytellers. This is your DM, Scott, and it's time for another DM Quick Tip.
It's the beginner DM, planning, this week on DM Quick Tips. Planning is a double-edged sword because you need to plan or your sessions are going to be bad. But you can also run into a situation where you overplan and your session is going to be bad. You have to find a happy medium between the two extremes. New DMs, I found, tend to overplan, and they do this because they're nervous. The new DM has not yet developed his Dungeon Master's toolkit. Their improv skills aren't great because they're just not practiced at it yet. It can very easily become overwhelming for a new DM, and that could drive them to step away from the big chair, and we certainly don't want that to happen. When I plan for a session and when I run it, I like to take the approach where I'm looking down on the session from some lofty height. I am taking what I like to call a bird's eye view of the table, the campaign, and the players. Doing this affords me the opportunity to see what is within the player's grasp, and I plan for that particular area that is readily accessible to them. I do this because no matter how much planning I'm going to do, the players have a tendency to not do what I want them to. Your players are going to do this as well. Understand that no matter what game you play, nothing is going to go as you have planned. That is just the nature of the beast, and it's okay. Taking this bird's eye view makes it a little bit easier to plan while still not over-planning. More and more books today have randomized tables in them. Some third-party publications have books that are entirely dedicated to randomized tables. This is great for the beginning DM who has not yet developed their improvisational skills. These books, these tables, are meant for you to use when players go off the rails, and they're going to. Invest in some of these if you're going to invest money in the hobby. I'm sure you can find plenty of randomized tables on DriveThruRPG or the DM's Guild that are reasonably priced. Go ahead and take a look. When you're developing NPCs, don't spend a lot of time and don't get attached to a certain NPC being a quest giver or the one essential to the story arc. Make some bullet points for each NPC you develop, and that's it. If there is a quest giver or someone essential to the story arc, write down what that quest or story arc is, but do not assign it to a specific NPC. Keep it fluid. If the PCs gravitate towards the blacksmith, the elderly man outside the tavern, or the stable boy, then make that NPC the one to deliver that dialogue related to the quest or important story arc. Until something happens, it's not canon in the game. Always keep that in mind. If your players miss something that you are planning on them not missing, and they will, make note of that and put that something that they missed in the next location they go. As a new DM, you have to develop the art of knowing when it's time to let go. You may have had some fantastic ideas that you strategically placed throughout your campaign, but the players had other ideas. They missed those strategically placed ideas and came up with some inventive ones of their own. This is particularly the case when it comes to problem solving. Know when to let go. You'll find that your players are far more inventive than you are. They will come up with some crazy solutions to some really difficult problems. Let go of your idea of how that problem should be solved and go with the flow. The idea is to keep the story moving so your players don't get bored. If you're waiting for them to figure out your solution to the problem, they may not. And they'll get bored, and they'll get disillusioned. And once they get all those things, your campaign is going to be hard to get back on track. Never write yourself into a corner. Once you do, it's very hard to get yourself out. Dungeons and Dragons and other role-playing games are about storytelling, and the storytelling is collaborative. You, as the Dungeon Master, develop the campaign, but both you and the players tell the story about the campaign. This is why being a Dungeon Master is akin to riding a unicycle blindfolded while juggling flaming swords. I'm going to leave you with one of my favorite quotes. This is from Bruce Lee. It was meant for martial arts and perhaps life in general, but it applies equally well to the art of being a Dungeon Master. You must be shapeless, formless, like water. When you pour water into a cup, it becomes a cup. When you pour water in a bottle, it becomes the bottle. When you pour water in a teapot, it becomes a teapot. Water can drip and it can crash. Become like water, new Dungeon Masters. Now, there are many ways you can plan, but these are my tips on doing so. We'll see you next time in the dojo.